Signs with orange backgrounds are A. General warning signs. B. Construction and maintenance warning signs. C. Regulatory signs. B. Construction and maintenance warning signs. The color orange is used only for construction and maintenance warning signs. Children up to age, fill in the blank, are prohibited from riding in cargo areas. A. 10. B. 12. C. 18. C. 18. Children up to age 18 are prohibited from riding in the cargo area of a vehicle. They must be safely secured in a safety belt or child safety seat while in a moving vehicle. A driver does not need to allow as much distance when following a motorcycle as when following a car. A. True. B. False. B. False. In dry conditions, motorcycles can stop more quickly than cars. Therefore, a driver behind a motorcycle should allow at least 3 to 4 seconds of following distance so that the motorcyclist has time to maneuver in an emergency. A diamond-shaped sign means A. Yield. B. Stop. C. Warning. C. Warning. Diamond-shaped signs are used to warn drivers of special conditions or hazards ahead. They are typically yellow or orange in color.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
When entering an interstate highway, you should A. Stop, check for cars, and enter when safe. B. Check for cars and reduce your speed to 25 miles per hour before entering the traffic lane. C. Check for cars, increase your speed to match the flow of traffic, and merge when the way is clear. C. Check for cars, increase your speed to match the flow of traffic, and merge when the way is clear. Rather than stopping as you would when entering other roads, you must use the merging or acceleration lane to speed up and smoothly merge with fast-moving traffic already on the interstate. As you enter into a roundabout, you should slow down and A. Yield to any crossing pedestrians and bicyclists. B. Yield to any car already within the roundabout. C. Both of the above. C. Both of the above. When entering a roundabout, you must yield to pedestrians, bicyclists, and traffic already in the roundabout. When faced with an oncoming car to the left and a bicyclist to the right, you should A. Pull onto the shoulder. B. Split the difference. C. Let the car pass and then pass the bike. D. Pass the bike quickly. C. Let the car pass and then pass the bike. When there is more than one potential hazard on the road, you should ensure that you only have to deal with one of them at a time. For example, when there is a bicyclist on the right that you want to pass and an oncoming car to the left, you should not try to squeeze between both at the same time. Instead, let the oncoming car pass, and then pass the bicyclist. This sign means A. You must drive slowly and sound your horn. B. A bus stop is ahead. C. You are entering a school's parking lot. D. A school zone is ahead. D. A school zone is ahead. Warning signs are used to warn drivers about upcoming hazardous conditions and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign tells drivers that they are approaching a school zone and that they should slow down and watch for children. When approaching an intersection controlled by a traffic signal displaying a flashing yellow arrow, drivers in the proper lane may A. Proceed in the direction of the arrow after coming to a complete stop. B. Proceed in the direction of the arrow after yielding to approaching traffic and/or pedestrians. C. Proceed in the direction of the arrow while maintaining their speed because they have the right of way. D. Come to a complete stop and remain stopped until the light turns green. B. Proceed in the direction of the arrow after yielding to approaching traffic and/or pedestrians. If you are in a lane corresponding to a traffic signal displaying a flashing yellow arrow, you should proceed in the direction indicated by the arrow after yielding to approaching traffic and/or pedestrians. What does alcohol do to your driving skills and judgment? A. It helps driving skills but harms your judgment. B. It harms both driving skills and judgment. C. It has no effect on either driving skills or judgment. D. It has no effect on judgment but it harms driving skills. B. It harms both driving skills and judgment. Alcohol negatively affects many skills needed for safe driving, including your reaction time and ability to see clearly. It can also harm your judgment of speed and distance, lower your inhibitions, and make you more prone to taking chances. Having a driver license is a right, not a privilege. B. Privilege, not a right. C. Requirement. B. Privilege, not a right. Holding a driver license is not a right. It is a privilege that must be earned and maintained. Which of these statements is true about changing lanes? A. You only need to turn and look over your right shoulder for lane changes to the right or left. B. Look over your right shoulder for a right lane change and your left shoulder for a left lane change. C. Vehicles with two outside mirrors do not have blind spots. B. Look over your right shoulder for a right lane change and your left shoulder for a left lane change. Before changing lanes, signal, look in all your mirrors, and look over your left or right shoulder to make sure the lane next to you is clear. Looking over your shoulder is a way to check your blind spot to be sure there is no vehicle, motorcycle, or bicycle traffic in the next lane. You must obey instructions from school crossing guards. A. At all times. B. Only during school hours. C. Unless you do not see any children present. A. At all times. Drivers should be alert to the presence of crossing guards when near a school and must always obey their instructions. You should not make sudden stops in front of large trucks and buses because A. Small vehicle drivers cannot adequately see large trucks and buses in their rearview mirrors. B. Large trucks and buses have air brakes and cannot stop as quickly as smaller vehicles can. C. Large trucks and buses travel at a higher rate of speed than smaller vehicles. B. Large trucks and buses have air brakes and cannot stop as quickly as smaller vehicles can. While automobiles have hydraulic brakes, large trucks and buses have air brakes. Air brakes do not operate as quickly as hydraulic brakes, so large trucks and buses cannot stop as quickly as smaller vehicles can. If you are feeling fatigued while driving, you should A. Increase your speed to reach your destination more quickly. B. Increase the volume of your radio. C. Find a safe parking area to take a short nap. C. Find a safe parking area to take a short nap. When driving, watch for warning signs of fatigue. You are too tired to drive safely if you are struggling to keep your eyes open, drifting from your lane, or turning up the radio and rolling down your windows to keep yourself awake. If you notice these signs, it is a good idea to find a safe place to park so you can refresh yourself with a short nap. All children under age 18 are required to ride A. In the back seat of a vehicle. B. In the front seat of a vehicle. C. Secured in a safety belt or child safety seat. C. Secured in a safety belt or child safety seat. Children under age 18 are required to be secured in a safety belt or child safety seat when in a moving vehicle. When you want to change lanes, you should never A. Move into another lane while within an intersection. B. Check your blind spot by looking over your shoulder. C. Check for other drivers moving into the same lane. A. Move into another lane while within an intersection. You should never change lanes within an intersection. Before changing lanes, always look over your shoulder to check your blind spot. Be alert to other drivers moving into the same lane. Which of the following driving skills are affected by the use of alcohol and/or drugs? A. Alertness and concentration. B. Reaction time and coordination. C. All of the above. If you are being passed in a no-passing zone, you should A. Pull off the road. B. Maintain your speed and position. C. Slow down and let the other driver safely return to the drive lane. C. Slow down and let the other driver safely return to the drive lane. Passing areas are based on how far ahead drivers can see. Allow the passing vehicle to re-enter the drive lane as easily as possible to help everyone avoid potential upcoming hazards. Hydroplaning occurs when tires ride on a thin film of water instead of on the surface of the road. To prevent hydroplaning in rainy weather, you should A. Put on your cruise control to maintain a constant speed. B. Decrease your speed. C. Move to the shoulder of the road as soon as it starts to rain. B. Decrease your speed. In rainy weather, you should lower your speed to reduce the risk of hydroplaning. Driving too fast may cause your tires to ride up on the water and lose contact with the surface of the road, making it very difficult to control your vehicle. Two solid yellow lines on the pavement mean A. Passing is allowed for drivers from both directions. B. Passing is not allowed. C. Passing is allowed if you are at the top a hill. D. Passing is allowed during daylight only. B. Passing is not allowed. Yellow lines tell you that the traffic on the other side of the lines is moving in the opposite direction. You should never cross two solid yellow lines to pass from either direction. A red arrow displayed on a traffic light means that A. A driver must proceed slowly through the intersection. B. A driver must stop and then proceed when the way is clear. C. A driver must stop and then proceed when the signal changes to a green light or green arrow. D. A driver may turn in the direction that the red arrow is pointing. C. A driver must stop and then proceed when the signal changes to a green light or green arrow. Unless a posted sign indicates otherwise, a traffic signal displaying a red arrow means that drivers must come to a full stop and remain stopped until a green light or green arrow appears. You are coming to an intersection with a flashing yellow light. You should A. Stop and wait for the light to change. B. Make a U-turn because the intersection is closed. C. Drive carefully through the intersection. D. Prepare to stop, the light is about to turn red. C. Drive carefully through the intersection. A flashing yellow light means that you should proceed through the intersection slowly and with caution. Scan your eyes across traffic in both directions. Fines for speeding are: fill in the blank. In work zones. A. Reduced. B. Doubled. C. Tripled. B. Doubled. Fines for moving traffic violations are doubled in work zones where workers are present, as well as in school zones during indicated hours. Always drive with caution when near children, workers, and other pedestrians. The effect that lack of sleep has on your safe driving ability is the same as A. The effect that alcohol has. B. The effect that amphetamines have. C. The effect that anger has. D. The effect that driving with teenagers has. A. The effect that alcohol has. Fatigue and being under the influence of alcohol have similar effects on your ability to drive safely. For example, being awake for 18 hours impairs your driving about as much as a blood alcohol level of 0.05%. Being awake for 24 hours in a row has the same effect on your driving as a blood alcohol level of 0.10%.